Hello and a warm welcome to 8 on Play on Northeast Sports Time. Well, this is our weekly sports bulletin from DD Sports. Lot of action lined up for your viewing pleasure in the next half an hour. But before moving ahead, let me take you to a quick look at the top stories. Third edition of KHELO India Youth Games 2020 takes off to a GLITZY opening ceremony. Around 6,800 athletes across 37 states and union territories teams to compete in 20 disciplines in the next 10 days. Poor form of Northeast United FC continues in the I-League. The Highlanders goes down to Goa FC by 2 goals while playing away from home. Indian skipper Virat Kohli rejects the proposal of 4-day test matches. Northeast Zone Elite Men and Women Boxing Championship 2020 as part of DWIJING Festival. And cyclists showed exemplary prowess in the second edition of the cross-country marathon MTB cycle race in DWIJING Festival in Assam. Welcome back. I am Pratana Hajarika. Let me give you news in details now. Well, the moment of glory for Assam has just happened a short while before. A glitzy opening ceremony kicked off the third edition of KHELO India Youth Games 2020, where 6,800 athletes from 37 states and union territories are competing in 20 disciplines. Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju and Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal were present at the opening ceremony, which is held at the Indira Gandhi Athletic Stadium in Horojai, Guwahati.
This is happening only because of the support given by the people of Assam and Guwahati, and also the support and cooperation we have got from the Government of India, and with like everybody's support, this is happening here. And particularly, I must admit here that everything is happening because of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi's support and blessing.
ये सिर्फ एक खेल नहीं, ये बहुत बड़ा महोत्सव है। ये खेलों का महाकुंभ है। गुवाहाटी में खेलो इंडिया यूथ गेम्स जो हो रहे हैं, इससे एक नया कीर्तिमान साबित होगा असम के लिए, पूर्वोत्तर के लिए, पूरा देश के लिए। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने खेलो इंडिया का जब अपने सोच में लेकर के इसको उतारने का जब निर्णय किया, तो ये सारा कल्पना करके ही ये सारा फैसला किया और खेलो इंडिया बहुत अच्छा से भारत में एक नया जोश पैदा कर।
A host of star athletes, including country's sprint sensation Hima Das, was also present. With more than 6,500 athletes in 20 disciplines, including cycling and lawn ball, which are debuting in this edition of KHELO India, this will be the biggest talent search event in India, outnumbering the 5,925 in the Pune last year's edition. The onset of more talent in the under 17 and under 21 age groups and the presence of scores of defending champion promises to make this edition more memorable.
Around 6,800 athletes across 37 states and union territories teams will compete in a total of 20 sports events, including new additions, lawn bowls and cycling, in event venues across Guwahati during the competition. The total strength of participation at the Games is 10,000 people, including athletes, officials, volunteers and support staff. Talking about the third edition of KHELO India Games, Chief Minister of Assam Shri Sarbananda Sonowal said, "We are extremely delighted to host the third edition of the KHELO India Youth Games. The competition has started a sporting revolution in India and we couldn't be more proud of the fact that the tournament is being held in Assam."
मैं चाहता हूं कि हमारे खिलाड़ी भी उत्साह और उमंग से खेले, क्योंकि खेल के मैदान में जो शक्ति भरा हुआ है, इस शक्ति को हासिल करने के लिए मुझे लगता है हर खिलाड़ी को निष्ठा से मेहनत करना चाहिए, पसीना बहाना चाहिए और सफलता प्राप्त करना चाहिए। उसी हिसाब से मुझे लगता है कि युवा शक्ति को महाशक्ति के रूप में हम सजा सकते हैं। तो उसी उमंग से मैं चाहता हूं कि खेलो इंडिया यूथ गेम 2020 को सफल बनाने के लिए असम में बसे हुए हर विद्यार्थी भाग लेंगे और माँ बाप इस विषय पर अपने बच्चों को उत्साहित करेंगे और हमारे परम आदरणीय जो शिक्षक है वो भी हमारे विद्यार्थियों को उत्साहित करेंगे।
Defending champions Maharashtra and runners-up Haryana will be locked in a keen tussle in the third edition of the KHELO India Youth Games. Maharashtra, who had cornered a grand total of 228 medals in the last edition, have fielded a 579-strong contingent and are expected to be rolling in medals this year too. Haryana, the champions of the inaugural edition, boast of 682 athletes and are confident of giving Maharashtra and other 34 states and union territories a run for their money. Delhi, number 3 in both the earlier games, will also be keen to move up the ladder once the action gets underway. With more than 6,500 athletes in 20 disciplines including cycling and lawn bowls, which are debuting in KHELO India, this will be the biggest talent search event in India, outnumbering the 5,925 in Pune last year. The onset of more talent in the under-17 and under-21 age groups and the presence of scores of defending champions promises to make this edition more memorable.
Cricket news now. Indian skipper Virat Kohli on Saturday rejected the idea of having 4-day test matches, saying the 5-day format should not be altered. Asked about his opinion on the idea of conducting 4-day test matches, Kohli said there was no need of another format just to commercialize the game. Well, I was present there in the press conference of Virat Kohli along with our camera person Anup Burman during that press conference from DD News Guwahati, which was held just before the first T20 international match between India and Sri Lanka in Guwahati.
Indian captain Virat Kohli on Saturday strongly opposed the 4-day test proposed by the ICC, as he is not in favour of any alterations which hurts the sanctity of the traditional 5-day format. According to me, he said, it should not be altered. As I said, the day-night is another step towards commercializing Test cricket and, creating excitement around it, but it can't be tinkered with too much. I don't believe so, Kohli, one of the greatest names in world cricket, told media persons on the eve of the first T20 against Sri Lanka in Guwahati. The ICC wants to try out the 4-day test match series during the next FTP cycle between 2023 and 2031 in order to get more free days for the commercially lucrative shorter formats. While this is at the proposal stage, Cricket Australia had expressed its intent of trying out the format, even though senior bowler Nathan Lyon termed it ridiculous. India recently played day-night tests, and that's about the change Kohli would like in the 5-day version for now. The day-night test is the most that should be changed about Test cricket, according to me, Kohli said. The India captain feels that the intent in reducing a day from 5 can't be right, and then one might talk about having 3-day tests. Then you're purely only talking about getting numbers, entertainment, and I think the intent will not be right then, because then you will be speaking of 3-day tests. I mean, where do you end? Then you will speak of Test cricket disappearing. Kohli was forthright in his answer. So I don't endorse that at all. I don't think that is fair to the purest format of the game. How cricket started initially, and 5-day tests was the highest of tests you can have at the international level, Kohli added.
4-day tests. Oh. I'm not a fan of T20 was a revelation in introducing a new format. I was not in favor of. I was asked about the 100 ball, and I said I'm not gonna go and try myself out in another kind of format because there's already so much going on. And with Test cricket, I don't think that with day-night tests is the most that should be changed about Test cricket, according to me. I mean, then you're purely only talking about getting numbers in and entertainment, and I think the intent will not be right then, because then you'll speak of 3-day tests. I mean, where do you end? Then you'll speak of test cricket disappearing. So I don't endorse that at all. I don't think that that is fair to the purest format of the game. How cricket started initially, and 5-day test matches was the highest of tests you can have at the international level. So according to me, it should not be altered.
The first T20 international between India and Sri Lanka was called off without a ball being bowled due to the wet outfield caused by a spell of heavy rain just after the toss in Guwahati on Sunday. The umpires held several inspections, but the damp patches on the pitch did not allow the match to start, much to the disappointment of fans who had gathered in large numbers to watch their favourite stars in action. The cut-off for a 5-over shootout was 9:46 p.m, but the outfield could not be prepared in time. The groundsmen even used a vacuum dryer to remove the damp patches on the pitch, but it did not help much. Not the news that we would want to hear, but the first T20 international between India and Sri Lanka has been abandoned due to rain, BCCI tweeted. The match could not take off despite repeated inspections carried out at 9:30 p.m, 9 p.m and 8:15 p.m. Groundsmen even used hairdryer, vacuum cleaners and steam iron to dry the pitch for the match, but the pitch and the ground weren't ready. Usage of rudimentary tactics for such an important match invited criticism from people on social media. The enthusiastic spectators who braved the rains and showed up were left disappointed.
Erratic Northeast helped Goa reclaim top spot in the Indian Super League in a major lapse in concentration in the 68th minute by the Highlanders. The race for the top spot in the Hero Indian Super League heated up as FC Goa defeated Northeast United FC 2-0 to celebrate their 100th Hero ISL match in style. The hosts were dominant in possession and created plenty of chances to score against a deep-lying defense but lacked the killer instinct in front of goal. Mislav Karmovsky's 68-minute own goal finally allowed Goa to take lead before Jos Luder conceded a penalty to allow Ferran Corominas in the 82nd minute to score what was his 49th goal in the ISL. We have this compilation from ARUNACHAL in Guwahati.
Well, this may be match number 54 in season 6 of the Hero ISL, but it is a landmark for FC Goa. This is their 100th game since the league started. The first team to reach that landmark. They will face off against Northeast United. Most number of goals at 177. The Hero ISL's most prolific side kick off what will be a century of attacking, entertaining football, and all the lessons of what has brought them so far.
FC Goa climbed back to the top of the standings with a 2-0 win against Northeast United at the Fatorda Stadium on Wednesday. A Mislav Komorsky 68th minute own goal, followed by a Ferran Corominas penalty in the 82nd minute, helped Goa secure 3 points. While FC Goa went into the game unchanged, Northeast United had Pawan Kumar replacing suspended Shubhashish Roy Chaudhary in goal. The visitors were without Asamoah Gyan and Kai Hirings in their squad, but Federico Gallego and Rupert Nongrum made their way in. Hugo Bomos was at the heart of Goa's attacks in the first half. However, despite creating chances, the hosts struggled to find the net. Corominas side-footed a shot wide early on, couldn't get the overhead kick on target in the 18th minute. In the 44th minute, he failed to connect to Bomos' pass across the face of the goal. Robert Jarni's men mostly soaked up the pressure and created only a couple of half chances as they looked to hit Goa on the counter. Gallego's through ball in the 11th minute saw an alert Mohammad Nawaz effectively rush off his line to clear the ball before an on-rushing Ridim Tlang pounced. Jackie Chand had an attempt saved by Pawan 4 minutes into the second half before being responsible for Goa's lead in the 68th. Although helped on its way in by Komorsky, who steered the Indian wingers cross goalwards from the right, the Highlanders' goalkeeper was equally erroneous for letting the ball slip into the net. The 68th minute goal was actually an own goal, thanks to miserable goalkeeping by Pawan Kumar. one should have saved that. Bomas found Jackie on the right. Jackie's cross was deflected off Komorski, who went in for a sliding tackle and headed straight to Pawan. But the northeast keeper let the ball in with a silly dive on top of the ball. He should have had his hands behind the ball instead. A gift for goal it was.
And Jackie once more in acres of space. Well, this time it's a much better ball, and oh my goodness! That is so unlucky. Komorski's diverted it into the back of the net. We knew something had to give, but not that way. And Pawan Kumar, who's actually been pretty okay so far in this game. What an error.
Ludo was given the marching orders for bringing down Corominas inside the box, and the Spaniard stepped up to convert from the spot to make it 2-0 in the 82nd minute.
Phenomenal average that defines him. Koro, he scored! 49, not out! Sly, cunning, but so clever.
Once again going to the right hand side, and Pawan Kumar guessed right, but it's just the power that has gone in there, and another landmark in today's game.
150 goals in the season. Trust from Jani.
Gravel tracks, forest tracks, dirt tracks, dry riverbeds, I mean, you name it and you have it. Cyclists showed exemplary prowess in enduring all these numerous challenges in the second edition of cross-country marathon MTB cycle race. Well, the highly competitive event was held at Chirang district in Assam as part of the recently concluded DWIJING festival in Bodoland area in Assam. We have more in this report from our producer Partha Chakraborty.
It was a race of a different type. Speed was crucial, but endurance took the precedence. The distance of the race was just about 30 kilometers approximately, but it was across grueling journeys like forest tracks, dirt tracks, dry riverbeds, gravel tracks. Pedaling in these conditions scorched the circuit as the participants brought out their best in fulfilling the challenge. Welcome to the second edition of Cross Country Marathon MTB Cycle Race. The highly competitive event was held at Chirang district in Assam as part of the DWIJING festival. Cyclists also passed through some of the very scenic places that went through the Kalamati area near Indo-Bhutan border and back to Koila Moila. The race saw participants from Bhutan, SSB, Sashastra Sima Bal, along with riders from Sikkim, West Bengal, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. It was flagged off by the commandant of 15th SSB Battalion, Shri D.B. Sonar. The race started and ended in front of SSB camp near Koila Moila in Chirang. Shri Kampa Borgoyari, Deputy Chief BTC, Shri Brahmananda Patri, DFO Chirang and other dignitaries were present on the occasion.
All your life. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
1, 3, 2, 1, go!
All the best, boys! All the best!
The first three position holders in the men's elite were Isaac Rai from SSB team, Shering Dundup from Bhutan and Kundrakpam Ronel Singh from Imphal, Manipur, receiving 40, 20 and 15,000 rupees respectively.
आप लोगों से थैंक यू देना चाहता हूँ ये जो DWIJING फेस्टिवल जो ऑर्गेनाइजिंग MTB XC ऑर्गेनाइजिंग टीम को थैंक यू देना चाहता हूँ क्योंकि हमें इतना बढ़िया अपॉर्चुनिटी दिया यहाँ आके इस रेस में पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए.
The winners in the men's under 18 were Ilam Jingshai Milliam from Shillong, Meghalaya, Malai Datta from Guwahati and Perma Wangyal from Bhutan, receiving 20 and 15 and 10,000 rupees respectively.
So it was very short and it's very challenges.
It was short. The trail for an exit trail. You are satisfied with the trail?
Yes, sir.
As part of the cycling events during DWIJING festival, another cycling event called DWIJING Splash was held at the festival ground. This event was open for the public where participants had to cross a narrow bamboo bridge built over knee-deep water on a cycle. This event saw tremendous participation, and the winner, Mr. Arjun, was given a Phantom brand cycle. The cycling events were organized by DWIJING Festival, ASSAM Tourism Development Corporation, Bodoland Tourism, Spoke Hub Racing, Guwahati, along with Pedal for a Change, Guwahati. It was supported by Wacky Talkie Guwahati. Spoke Hub Racing had organized the first edition of DWIJING XCM in January last year that was well received by all stakeholders.
Wrestling is a popular sport in Nagaland. Many sports lovers in Nagaland had a gala time here recently, attending a two-day inter-village wrestling championship held in KHONOMA village, 30 kilometers from Kohima, the state capital. At least 150 players from different villages participated in this year's wrestling competition at KHONOMA village. Naga wrestling is a distinct and it has a different wrestling style which is quite different from the usual wrestling that we see. Find out more in this report from our producer S. Sishi and stringer Miss Cecilo Chase.
The 51st KHONOMA Wrestling Meet 2020 was held on the 6th of January 2020 at Terhotsezi, KHONOMA in Nagaland. The tournament was organized by KHONOMA Youth Organization KYO. Rovilhuli Peer from Thevoma U Organization TYO emerged as the champion of the 51st KHONOMA Wrestling Meet 2020. While Kelhusali Pia from TYO bagged the second position. Kevikoto Vipri from Semoma Youth Organization SYO and Kevisato Kyotsu from TYO were in the third and fourth positions respectively. All the position holders were awarded with cash prizes with certificates. 3 KHELs from KHONOMA, that is Merhima Youth Organization MYO, Thevoma Youth Organization TYO and Semoma Youth Organization SYO took part in the 51st KHONOMA Wrestling Meet 2020 along with 54 wrestlers. Earlier, Kovi Meyase, Kohima Municipal Council Administrator, graced the tournament as a special guest.
Well, host East Siang locked horns with KURUNG KUMEY in the final of the 18th TADAR TANG state-level football tournament on Sunday last. East Siang team defeated 5-3 on penalties after the action-packed semi-final ended on a draw, with both teams scoring 1 goal each. East Siang earlier thrashed Lower Huonthiri 2-1 in the inaugural match and later beat Dibang Valley 2-0 to enter the semi-final. In another semi-final match of the day, KUMEY beat Arunachal Pradesh Police to enter the final. Our producer Beaton Jerang from DD News Itanagar brings us more details.
Kurung KUMEY lifted the TADAR TANG state-level football trophy for the 4th time after they defeated East Siang 4-3 via penalty shootout in the final match of the tournament's 18th edition, played here in East Siang on Monday. It was a game of missed opportunities as both the teams squandered several scoring chances throughout the course of play. The score remained 0-0 at the end of the regulation and extra time. Tame Agung was adjudged the most valuable player of the tournament for his superb performance throughout the tournament. Tajong Nonang of East Siang was declared the best goalkeeper, while the title of the highest scorer went to Andhoko Meto of Lower Dibang Valley.
इस बार हम लोग अच्छा टीम है ग्रुप में टीम ना तो हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट है हम लोग जीतेगा बोल के तो क्वालिफाई में हम लोग यही खेला है तो हम लोग अच्छा रिजल्ट है इसलिए हम लोग आज ये मौका मिला है कि जीतने का ना अब तक 13 इयर्स के बाद कुरुंग में टीम फिर तादर तांग को इस चैंपियन बनने में कामयाब रहा है.
Moving on, more than 100 boxers from 9 states battled it out for top honours in the first BFI Northeast Zone Elite Men and Women Boxing Championship 2020. The event was held at Chirang as part of the prestigious DWIJING Festival. The championship was organised by Bodoland Territorial Council in association with ASSAM Amateur Boxing Association. We have this report from our producer Bhupen Mishra in Guwahati.
The first BFI Northeast Zone Elite Men's and Women's Boxing Championships 2020 was held at Chirang DWIJING Festival Ground from 2nd to the 6th of January 2020. 9 states, namely West Bengal, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura and Assam participated with more than 130 boxers, 50 team officials and 40 ring officials making their presence in the meet. The championships were organised by DWIJING Festival in association with ASSAM Amateur Boxing Association. Presidents and General Secretaries of all Northeast Zone states were present in this mega meet. Top boxers L. Sarita Devi, Jamuna Boro were present at the opening ceremony of the event. The 4th DWIJING Festival went on peacefully at Khagrabari on the Ai River bank near Hagrama Bridge in Chirang district. Thousands of visitors from across the country have come to enjoy the biggest river festival in the region. The traditional food, exhibition, elephant ride, horse riding, boat sailing, cultural extravaganza, helicopter service, hot balloon, para-motoring, boxing competition for the Northeast Zone and Komlai Nai, traditional Bodo wrestling, have made the festival more attractive. State Finance, PWD and Health Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma on Monday visited the DWIJING Festival and gave away the prizes of the Northeast Zone boxing competition. Later, he addressed a brief public meeting in the open dais at the festival. He was accompanied by Tourism Minister Chandan Brahma. Talking to reporters after the meeting, Sarma said, the huge crowd of people in the ongoing DWIJING Festival clearly showed the peaceful coexistence between people of the region. Replying to questions, Sarma said the DWIJING Festival would be made a state calendar event and the ministry concerned would be able to declare it anytime. He also said that the state government had been extending the financial grant of Rs 6 crore for the DWIJING Festival for promotion of tourism sector and they were getting expected results.
DWIJING Festival or গোটেইখিনি খা খৰচৰ দায়িত্ব অসম চৰকাৰে লৈ আহিছে যোৱা বছৰো প্ৰায় আমি 6-7 কোটি টকা দিছিলোঁ এইবাৰো খুব সম্ভৱ 5-6 কোটি টকা আমি দিছোঁ গতিকে মই ভাবো যে অসম চৰকাৰে ক্যালেণ্ডাৰ উৎসৱতকৈ বেছিকৈ সহায় কৰি আছে
তো ক্যালেণ্ডাৰ উৎসৱ হ'ব পাৰে নে
হ'ব পাৰে তো চন্দন মমৰে নিজৰে কথা তেওঁ ডিক্লেয়াৰ কৰিলে হ'ল তেওঁৰে ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্ট
NAZIRA and GOLAGHAT bagged men's and women's title in the 56th Inter-District Volleyball Championship, which concluded at Boko in Assam recently. Altogether, 20 teams participated in a 3-day meet. Here is the report.
The 56th edition of the Senior Assam Men and Women Inter-District Volleyball Championship was held recently at Boko, almost 60 kilometers from the capital Guwahati. Altogether, 20 teams participated in the 3-day meet. The inaugural function was attended by the President of Assam Volleyball Association, Sushanta Biswa Sarma, and CEM of Rabha Hasong Autonomous Council, Tankeshwar Rabha. NAZIRA and GOLAGHAT bagged men's and women's titles in the 56th Inter-District Volleyball Championship, which concluded at Boko recently. In the final, NAZIRA defeated Barpeta by 25-18, 25-19 and 25-15. The women's final was well contested, where GOLAGHAT beat Dhemaji 15-25, 21-25, 27-25, 25-22 and 25-11. Vineet Chaudhary of NAZIRA and Kaveri Bora from GOLAGHAT received the Best Male and Female Player Awards of the meet. The closing function was attended by Deputy Commissioner Kamrup Rural, Kamal Kumar Bhatia, Joint Secretary Sports Pankaj Chakraborty, Working President of Assam Volleyball Association Pradeep Hazarika, and Aditya Rava, EM Rava Hasang Autonomous Council.
Well, with this, we come to the end of this edition of Northeast Bulletin, 8 on, Play on. Thanks for joining us. We will be back next week on the same day and on the same time for another exciting edition of the program. Till we meet again, stay healthy, stay sporty, and thank you for watching.